Welcome to the Sincerely God podcast. I'm Sarah, and I believe that God is speaking to all of us all the time and in many different ways. The primary way that I listen is through two-way journaling. And on this podcast, I share excerpts from my journaling time with God, which are really inspirational messages spoken from the perspective of God to you. I'll talk more about what two-way journaling is and explore other methods which may be helpful for you to listen to God in your own unique way. I'm just an ordinary person who gets to hear from an extraordinary God, and I believe you can too. Thanks for joining. So I've shared previously about what introduced me to this idea or this way of two-way journaling. It was through a book by Mark Verkler, and in that book, it has a lot of prompts, like questions that you can ask to try to get the conversation going. So the journaling I'm sharing today is actually following one of those prompts. And the question to ask God was, how important is it to use the eyes of my heart? How have I been using them, or how would you have me use them? And this is the response that I got. See, I am doing a new thing. I am doing more than you can see with your eyes. I am working in the heavenly realms, far from where your eyes have the ability to see. But I will give you holy vision, my child. I will open the eyes of your heart so you can see. You get stuck on an expected result. What I wish to show you will not fit into what you understand or expect. You wish to see clear pictures in your mind, but the heart is not your mind. The heart loves in a different realm. It is with your heart that you may see visions. See, I am teaching you how to open your heart to me and all my ways. Keep seeking, keep receiving. I am teaching you, I am showing you my ways. Seek me first. Seek my desires for you, my child. Seek and you will find. You will receive. You will receive the gift of visions. You will receive when your heart is ready. Continue to seek. See all you have already experienced. Do not doubt that I will give you more ways of experiencing my love and goodness. I am the giver of every perfect gift. Everything good in this world comes from me. Everything good in your life is from me. You have received many gifts, and you will receive many more. Open your arms wide to receive all I am giving you. Try me, test me. See how I will overwhelm you with my love and goodness. See how I will exceed every expectation. Come to me with expectancy for my love and good gifts. Ask and receive. Do not be afraid to ask for big things. Ask in my name and watch me provide. Ask and receive. Ask for yourself, ask for others, ask with confidence and faith. Ask in my name, ask and receive. All my blessings I pour out on you, my child. Receive, receive, receive. Do you wish for healing? Do you wish for boldness? Do you wish for laughter? Ask and receive. Ask your good Father, and he will give you every perfect thing, every good and perfect gift. Ask, my child, ask me for what you desire. I will answer you. And so in my journaling, I actually asked him a couple of things, but one of the things I asked was for courage. And he responded, see, the way is already made. The path is already clear. Walk in it, my child. Walk with confidence. Walk with faith. As you step out, your confidence will increase and your faith will rise. Step out in faith with me, my child. Step out on that water. I've already made a way. The foundation is already set. You know my ways. You know my truths. You know them as truth, undeniable, uncontestable. Step out. Step forward with your hands open wide to receive my blessing and provision along the way. So I feel like God is still opening me up to this idea of seeing with the eyes of my heart. I am innately just very focused on my mind. I've really lived my life in my mind and very rational, logic-based. And while there is a lot of good in that, and it has served me well in a lot of ways, it also can become a hindrance and like a barrier to be open to receive more, because there's so much about the supernatural, about the spirit realm that is beyond what our mind can comprehend. And so if I'm stuck in only being able to receive, to see, to experience what I have the ability to understand in my mind, then there's so much that I'm missing, because there's so much that is beyond our ability to understand and to comprehend through just our humanness. And so in this initial journaling, he's just telling me, see with the eyes of your heart. That's that's not your mind. Your heart is not your mind. Your heart is beyond. Your heart exists in a way that is beyond your mind, beyond your ability to understand. And so to be open and to see his visions, to allow him to speak, and for me to be able to receive, for you to be able to receive in these new ways. As I have grown and been open to new experiences, still my more natural or the easier way that I am able to receive is through thoughts in my mind. And there's so much that I receive that way, and it's a beautiful way to receive, and it has been transforming in all the things. But I do struggle to receive visions. And when I say visions, I think when God was speaking to me, he's speaking in a lot of different ways that can mean. But one of the ways that can mean is seeing images in, you could say, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, but being able to see a picture of something. So like if I tell you to just imagine in your mind a picture of a purple elephant, if you can picture that in your mind, wherever you're seeing that image, that's where you can also see visions that are from God. And I think there's something about being able to receive in vision that I've only experienced to a small degree, but what I have experienced, and even just learning through other people, other books, there is this piece, like I think what God is describing here, and there's actually a book I'll put in the show notes. It's called, I forget exactly what it's called, but something about unleashing spirit-born emotions. But it really talks about that difference between mind and heart, and emotions being tied to the heart, and that there's power in what we say and what we kind of believe in words in our mind. There's a different kind of power that exists within our emotions and what we can connect with in our heart, and that's often through imagery and visions. And I have experienced that, where when you can see something, like even if maybe you are remembering something in your mind, maybe there's a positive memory from your past that it was a joyful moment, and you can kind of go back to that moment in time. And as you're not just thinking in words of maybe what was said or words describing what was experienced. Usually you're going to picture what you can see, what you can remember from what you saw and experienced in that moment. And there's a deeper impact. There's a deeper connection that you can actually feel some of those same feelings that you had when that memory first took place, as you are picturing it and imagining this vision in your mind of that memory. And the same can be true through visions of the now, visions of the future. There's methods of healing and ways of calming if you deal with anxiety or maybe even PTSD type symptoms, that you can use guided imagery to bring calm, to bring peace, to actually change what is happening in your body. When we are in that kind of fight or flight mode, we have cortisol is a hormone that's released. It's the stress hormone, and that kind of, it helps you in that short period of time. But when when you're constantly in that kind of stressed state, then it can have detrimental effects on your body, right? So being able to calm yourself and get into that peaceful state is very healthy and can bring health and healing to your body. And so learning ways to be able to do that, one of those ways is through this imagination, these images or visions in your mind. And so while we have the ability as human beings to create images and receive the positive, or honestly sometimes the negative, right? When you start imagining things in your mind of the bad that can happen, that can make you feel stressed and feel anxiety. So there's power in what we imagine, what we believe, what we can picture in our minds. And I say picture in our minds, but there's this heart component to it. So I believe what God was speaking to me then, and what he continues to teach me about as I kind of learn and grow, is there is a different aspect that is a connection within our heart, that our heart can see things that are beyond what our mind can understand. And often that can come in images, in visions. And so as you're able to kind of use the eyes of your heart, you can open yourself up to receive more and more things that maybe are beyond your understanding and beyond your mind's ability to receive. You can receive in your heart instead. So, he's just telling me in this time to ask and to receive, that he will give gifts of vision when my heart is ready. And there is a process of being ready. And I think a lot of that, call it readiness, and this process is actually about removing things, removing layers and barriers and maybe beliefs and mindsets and just things that we have built up over time as we've gone through this world that just become noise, become a separation that gets in the way of being able to receive more clearly and more openly. If you think about children, when you talk to kids, or you can remember back when you were a child, imagination was what we always did. Like, it was so easy to imagine and to get lost in these imaginary tales, whether it's something, you're watching like a cartoon, or just what you're making up on your own, right? Imaginary friends or imaginary circumstances. And so I think a lot of this, call it preparing my heart, getting ready, is really to bring me back to that more childlike state where it was easy to imagine, it was easy to see visions and to receive things that were beyond what I could even understand. Because as a child, there's a lot that you can't understand. So bringing us back, I think, to that more pure original state, and that allows us to be more open to receive all and new and beyond. And then this part of just him saying, the way is already made, the path is already clear, walk in it, walk in faith. And I feel like, especially this season that I'm in right now, this is a continual message that he's giving me of really to trust that he is good, to trust that he's in control, that there is a path that has been set, and I don't necessarily need to see the exact directions. I don't need to see all of the steps and exact details of where this path is taking me, but to trust that as long as I am aligned to him, as long as I am seeking him and listening and trusting that he'll show me the way, and that it will work out, and that what will come in its right time. I think I tend to want to pre-plan. I want to know exactly what is going to happen, when it's going to happen. And really, he's been teaching me over and over again that I don't need to know the what. I don't need to know the when or the how. All I need to know is that he is good and that he is for my good. And I just need to know him. I need to know God. I need to be listening to him. And that in that, the path will be made clear. The path already is. And it's just my job to walk in it and to walk forward. And that walking is one step at a time. So just stepping out in faith, trusting. He says, step out on that water. There's risk. There is risk to step out without knowing all of the steps, without knowing the exact path, without knowing what directions you're following. It is a risk. And to be able to accept that risk, right? We're accepting that God is good. We're trusting that God is good, and we're accepting that there may be missteps along the way. There may be detours. There may be unexpected things that weren't perfect, but trusting that the ultimate destination is set, and that I'm not walking alone. I'm not taking each step alone, even if I do make a mistake, or even if I do kind of start down a wrong direction, that even when I do that, I'm not alone. And if I am continuously seeking him and trusting him and listening, then he'll get me back to where I need to be. He won't let me go too far down the wrong path, and he'll help me and heal and teach me in that process. I think that's another thing that he's been teaching me is this idea of risk. Like, I generally am a very risk averse person. I don't like to take risks. I don't like to expose myself to unnecessary harm or hurt or difficulty. I would much rather be prepared for all the things. Like, I'm the one that goes to the event, goes on the trip with all the things. I might need this, I might need that. And I would rather be prepared and have it just in case. But God's trying to teach me that sometimes there's a lesson in the mistake. Sometimes there's a lesson in the seemingly unexpected or the mishap or the detour, that actually sometimes those are in a way necessary, that there's learning, there's growth, there's an experience that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't maybe tripped over that thing or had to, climb over that rock that I wasn't expecting. So trusting, being willing to take risk, trusting that God is with me and that God will help me and that there will be good that comes out of even the things that I would have preferred to avoid. So I want to encourage you to maybe ask the same question. Ask God, what is important about using the eyes of your heart? What does that mean to you? And see what he says. See maybe how open the eyes of your heart already are, or if there's still a process that you're walking through to have an ability to receive more openly. And maybe even ask God, use the eyes of my heart. Show me, ask him a question. Show me what a next step on my path looks like. Show me a picture of your love for me. Show me a picture of your thoughts about me. Show me a picture of how you see me. Those are all questions that you can ask that he can actually answer. Sure, he can answer in thoughts and you can receive through this two-way journaling approach, but he can answer that by giving you a picture in your mind. And don't be so quick to just assume that this picture that you're seeing is you making it up. Be open to think that, well, maybe the first image that comes to mind, if it is good, if it is pure, it's probably from God. And it's okay to trust and to test and experience in that way. So I just encourage you in that to explore what it means to receive in the eyes of your heart, to see with the eyes of your heart. And then also just to walk down your path. That could be any area of your life. It could be just a decision that you're trying to make, or a long-term goal that you're reaching for, or it could be any number of things. But is there an area of your life where you feel like maybe you don't know exactly what that path looks like? Can you trust that there is a path and that God is leading you along it? Is there maybe a risk that he wants you to take? Maybe it's just a small risk to trust that, okay, I don't know for sure if this thing is going to work out, but I'm going to try to take a step in that direction and see what happens. And then listen, be aware. And when I say listen, that's listen in whatever your way of listening is. That could be just like an internal feeling, an internal knowing of, hey, this feels right, this doesn't feel right. It could be receiving pictures. It could be just having circumstances. I think sometimes God just speaks through circumstances, right? The stars align, all of the opportunities work out. I'll have instances where the same message will come up in multiple ways. A friend will tell me something. I will watch a message that has the exact same, focus in it, just in my everyday. I'm not seeking it out, but just things that happen in my everyday, and it'll be the same message like 3 or 4 times. Usually that's God, another way that God's speaking to me. So listen and try, maybe take that small risk. So I just encourage you, spend some time this week asking God to show you more with the eyes of your heart, and maybe to show you what is a step on the water that you can take. Thanks for tuning in to the Sincerely God podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends. If you'd like more information, you can go to my website, sincerelygodquotes.com. There you'll find links to my social media, as well as an ability to get your own copy of Sincerely God, a collection of quotes, either the book or the prayer journal. Until next time, keep listening to how God is speaking to you.